Hello, this is Eric Parnell, Chief Market Strategist from Great Valley Advisor Group. 2025 is underway, but in order to understand where we're going, it's worthwhile to take a look back at where we've been in 2024. Now, it was an unusual year for the US stock market, and it was a market that was difficult to outperform. For as well as the S&P 500 did, the performance was extremely concentrated. Let's break it down. There's 11 sectors that make up the S&P 500, but only 3 of those sectors outperformed, and those sectors only did so barely. Well, how does this happen? Let's take a look at the 3 sectors that outperformed. One, to many people's surprise, is financials, but we'll come back to that in a minute. The other 2 are communication services and consumer discretionary. Now, when you get into the details of those 2 sectors that outperformed, you'll see that it is a very limited number of stocks, really 3 stocks across those 2 sectors that caused those two to outperform. Had those 3 stocks not done so well, they would have underperformed the market themselves. What about technology? I didn't mention technology. That's the sector that everybody's been talking about. That sector actually underperformed the S&P 500 in 2024. How does that happen? Because once again, there was only about 2 or 3 stocks that really drove the strength in technology. You take those stocks out, and it highlights how challenged the rest of the market was in technology in 2024. Now, why does all of this matter? So few stocks driving the market higher, and overall, 27% of stocks outperforming the S&P 500, when normally we see nearly half of the stocks outperform the S&P 500. It matters because it highlights the magnitude of risks that exists right now in the US stock market and that S&P 500 benchmark that so many people use to measure the performance of their portfolios. We must remember that risk cuts both ways. If you have a very small number of stocks that are meaningfully outperforming the benchmark at any given point in time and pulling it higher, we can go into another year just like we saw in 2022 when some of these same stocks were down 50%, 60% or more. Resist the urge to chase the market right now because long-term discipline is rewarded. I mentioned financials before. Financials was notable because they outperformed the market in 2024. But part of that is because they did so poorly relative to the market in 2023, underperforming dramatically. Remember all those bank crises that took place in 2023. If you stick to your discipline, one of the things we shouldn't be surprised to see as we go through 2025, some of those sectors that really lagged could be those big outperformers in 2025. We've seen years like 2024 in the past, 2021, 2017, 2013, 1999. These are years when certain stocks have outperformed the market. But that doesn't mean you abandon your long-term plan because markets cut both ways. Stick to your discipline, remain focused, and make sure that you're not only seeking long-term returns, but you're managing against the downside risk along the way. Thanks for joining me for this latest market insight, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.